You ever feel like you meet the same guy over and over and over again? He's just got different faces. And this is the guy who starts out charming. He's got great things to say. Like, it starts out really fun, but ultimately the relationship doesn't go anywhere. And then you find out that this guy is just another guy who's emotionally unavailable. If you can relate to this, you're gonna love this particular episode, because today we're gonna talk about 3 unmistakable signs that you've actually got Mr. Right. You've actually got your person, a great guy. And I'm going to share with you one big red flag sign that it's the wrong guy, so you can avoid him early on. Really knowing what to look for, knowing what matters, what doesn't matter, what these signs are, can really save us a lot of pain in our journey. Because I remember when I was dating, it's hard to know, like, well, should I prioritize this? Does this behavior mean that this person really has good staying power? Are they going to be a great partner? Is this someone who's going to align with me? And so I want to share with you some subtle signs that are really good indicators that this guy could be a great long-term match with you. So the first sign that you're looking for is the guy who values your independence and he can see the best in you. Now think about this for a moment. The guy who can value your independence, value your freedom, value your passions, that you have your own unique independent life separate from his. You see, the guy who is insecure deep down, the guy who doesn't have a really nice rooted level of self-esteem, that guy ultimately wants control, because anything that's not within his control is a threat to him. So he's going to want to try to control. So he's going to want to try to draw you into his world and not honor your world. That's the guy who wants to bring you into his experience, which in the beginning can be like, oh, well, this is nice because he's bringing me into his friends. He's bringing me into his family. He's opening up, which is great. But you want to notice, does he also value you? Does he want to be included in what you're doing? And is he okay if you go do your own thing separate from him, that doesn't bother him, that's okay? And does he see the best in you? Does he cheer you on? Is he your own like best rooter in the stand, saying, okay, you got this, you can do this? Because the person who's got natural self-esteem, they want to prop everyone else up. The person who is a manipulator or the person who is a narcissist starts out by love bombing and being really charismatic. But if you notice, there's this, you can actually suss it out really easily, because it's all about them. And it's exciting, but it's still all about them. So how do you spot this early on in the dating process? Well, you want to notice if this guy that you're seeing naturally props other people up, if he naturally lifts other people up with his words, praises other people, celebrates other people around you, then that's a great indicator that he's also going to be that way in a relationship, because these types of people, he's not going to reserve this just for you. It's going to be his natural way of being in the world. Let me share an example with you. I ended up going to this giant conference to do interviews of men, like men on the street interviews of what these guys wanted in a partner. Now, some of these guys were single, some of them were in relationships. What was interesting is the guys who were in great partnerships started to say something they all had in common about what they wanted. And it was that they wanted somebody who had their own passion in life, someone who was passionate about their career or passionate about life and could go and do those things. And I thought, wow, isn't that beautiful? Beautiful demonstration of a solid guy in his own sense of self with his own life. He wants his woman to go forward and win and thrive and have her own passions, and he actually supports that. So that's something that you want to look for early on that lets you know that this guy is a high quality guy with which to create a great relationship. The second sign that you want to notice early on is that this man can communicate through conflict, because conflict is coming. It's just a matter of time. There's a guarantee in any relationship. But how does he handle it? How does he handle stress? Is he the guy that withdraws and gives you the silent treatment? Is this the guy who gets full of ego and he's right and you're wrong? Is this the guy who does low blows and tries to manipulate? Or is this the guy who can calmly, rationally talk to you about what's happened and the two of you can solve it together? You see, I believe great relationships aren't measured by the highs. They're measured by how well you handle the lows, because it's all coming. How can you navigate through that conflict? I remember one of the great things about my wife that stood out when we were dating is that when there was a conflict, we were able to sit down and talk about it. And she was able to reflect. I was able to reflect. We were both able to own our part in it. It was never like one person's always right, one person's always wrong. and we're able to come through that and be closer on the other side. So how's this guy navigating the conflict? It also shows up in the stressful moments, right? You've got to be with somebody over enough period of time that this is actually going to come out. These moments are revealing moments. These moments where you actually get to see the character of somebody. Wayne Dyer will say, when you squeeze an orange juice comes out. Why? Because that's what was in it in the first place. When you notice your partner gets squeezed by life, maybe it's stressful at work. Maybe he's having an argument with his family. Maybe the two of you are having an argument. When he gets stressed by a squeeze, what is it that comes out? Is it patience? Is it compassion? Is it understanding? Is it good communication skills? Or is it stress and name calling and low blowing, or the silent treatment, or he gets defensive, or he gets critical, or he counterattacks? If that comes out, you know that, oh, that was in there in the first place. You want someone who has a level of being their best when it's their worst. In other words, when they're at their worst, it's still above board. It's still like, okay, that's acceptable in this relationship to create a healthy, thriving relationship. So in a moment, I'm going to share with you the big red flag that lets you know that this is not your person. But before we do that, let's talk about the third sign that this guy is a great fit for you, be a great relationship. And that is a really powerful one. Number 3 is he follows through. And this is super important for several reasons. In other words, his words and actions match. That when he says he's going to do something, you can count on it, that he actually is going to do it. When he says he's coming over on Saturday after work, he shows up right after work, and the two of you have a great evening together. When he says he's going to call you on Sunday afternoon and make plans, he calls you with a plan and he follows through. His words and actions match. This is probably the most underestimated but most important skill set for a relationship for several reasons. One of them, the most important reason, is that you'll notice something happen. I mean, you've probably been with a guy who said he's going to call and then he doesn't call, right? He says he's coming over and then he calls and tells you why he's not coming over. I was just talking to a client who said that she was dating this guy and he said he was going to come over on Friday night. He didn't give her a time, but in her mind, that meant like 5, 6 o'clock. He showed up at 9. And he was like, oh, work ran late and this and that. And then he's there. They had a great evening. He had to work on Saturday. He came over later Saturday night, 7, 8, had another great night. He said, I'll be back tomorrow and we'll hang out. He went over with his friends. He started drinking, got drunk. He called her and was like, oh, I can't hang out because I'm drunk with my friends. It's not good for me to drive. And it was just kind of one disappointment, a slight disappointment after another. And he always had a good reason. He had to work late, right? He was drinking. He shouldn't be driving. All of these things. But as she began to kind of look at this map of how much he follows through, it was a constant string of disappointments. And so she's like, man, this guy really isn't into me. I don't want to be in a relationship where I'm more disappointed than not. But notice this. What happens is then her anxiety goes up. Her feeling of instability goes up. Her overthinking goes up, and it becomes a torturous experience. Now let's contrast that against the guy who follows through. When he follows through, something magical occurs. You begin to relax because you can trust that when he says he's going to call, he calls. You guys are on the same page. When he says he's coming over, he lets you know when he's coming over. He makes a plan. He lets you know in advance what to expect, what to wear, what's happening on that plan, on that date that he's going to take you out on. And when you can relax, you're able to let more of your natural, authentic self through. You're able to connect in deeper levels. There was a relationship coach that I heard once that said, for women to really thrive in a relationship, they need 3 things. They need to be seen, they need to feel safe, and they need to feel sexy. And what I love about these 3 signs that we've just talked about, where he celebrates your independence, sees the best in you, he communicates well through conflict, and he follows through, all of those, number 1, he helps you feel seen, and number 2, he helps you feel safe, so that you can actually feel open enough and secure enough to really open that heart and build deep, lasting connection with this guy. Now let's talk about the one big red flag. The one big red flag in a relationship is where you're dating a future version of this guy that you want. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is that he's showing up and he has so much potential, and you feel like, well, if he just solves this, then he'll be great. If he just gets to a certain place in his life, then he'll be emotionally available and want a relationship. Or if he just does this inner work and heals the past, then he'll realize he really does love me and want to commit. If you're dating a potential future version of him, you're not dating the person you think you are. What we're doing is we're actually creating self-deception. And this is a major red flag, and one that I see so many people wasting months, if not years of their life with somebody who is ultimately never gonna get to that point. Know this, if you're not dating the guy that ultimately you would love to be with, cast him aside. Doesn't mean you have to know everything about this guy right now. You may be discovering him, but if you discover something where you're like, well, wow, this person really doesn't have the qualities that I want, and he's gonna have to do a lot of work to get there, let him go do that work without you, because your right guy is out there. Your right guy is trying to come into your life right now. And if you're spending all your time with this other guy who's ultimately a project for you, it's not fair to that guy, because he deserves someone who's going to love him as he is. And your guy's trying to find you and he can't find you either. But when you have the courage to cast that guy aside, make yourself available, you unlock your love life in all kinds of ways. And ultimately you say no to that rotating door of the same guy with a different face, so that you can actually attract the right guy. Now, my question for you is, what are the signs that you look for that let you know, like early on, this guy that you're dating is a great fit for you? I would love to hear your thoughts. Post those in the comments below. And know this, I believe in you. I appreciate you so much. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.